What is up,
That's all it took.
everybody? Episode 11 here for Yank This. We're coming off this great Mets series. We took both games, we split the season series. Looking forward to the going out west tonight against Oakland. But right now, we don't even have a lineup published or a starter ready to go right now. Probably going to be Tyone. But looking forward to this West Coast run. Tommy, how we feeling?
Feeling good, man. I mean, sorry guys, I'm on the move as usual. I apologize, but I'm feeling good, man. 2-game beat up of the Mets. Good pitching, timely hitting. I feel good, man. A team in Oakland that we usually do pretty good against. So I'm feeling pretty good right now. Very confident in how we're playing. I know it's a modest 3-game winning streak, but I would say that we're looking a lot better than we did a week ago.
No, for sure, especially because this Oakland team has nothing to ride home about.
Not at all. They got rid of the people that they actually liked, right? Via trade, via free agency, they let people walk. It's a team that you should beat up on, and we should be able to take care of business starting tonight.
Yeah, especially they gave their best pitcher to us. Montas had a pretty good performance against the Mets the other day. He went 6 strong, only gave up 2 runs, and one of them you could argue was more on Torres than on him, letting Pete Alonso round third on him, trying to get the out at second. But yeah, really good performance by the Yankees over the Mets here in the Bronx. The Mets are still a very dangerous team coming out of the National League, but we're hopefully. I was talking about it in the group chat. Hopefully, we see them again in October. That I think that would be probably the best thing for baseball right now is a Subway Series World Series. Just because
That'd
of
be
the
ideal,
spotlight,
dude.
just because of the spotlight it put on the sport. Especially because we were able to avoid DeGrom, so it'll be interesting to see how this team does against them. Does against him.
Listen, man, we know how good DeGrom is, right? I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm pretty happy we dodged him, to be honest. It was good to face Walker and Scherzer, put up some good at bats against those guys and, get 2 wins. It was much needed. We were definitely reeling for a little while. Hopefully that 3-game stretch that we're winning and going to Oakland can help us right the ship a little bit. And yeah, man, it's Montas was looking really good until I don't know what, that situation that happened that led to that 2-run homer. But I mean, Montas was pitching really good, man. He looked really good his last start.
Yeah, of course. Well, you got this Met series in the background now. This is the last time we're going to see them again until hopefully we run into them in October. But right now, as I spoke on at the beginning of the show, right now we don't have a lineup or a starting pitcher. The only guy that we know is coming back tonight is Giancarlo Stanton. Spent a couple of weeks, not even a couple of weeks, about a month on the IL with that Achilles injury. He should be back tonight, but we get Giancarlo back, and then we lose Nestor Cortez, who probably has been our most reliable starting pitcher throughout the year. Cole is, of course, our ace, but when you want to look at a guy that's been giving consistent performances all year, Nestor's been that guy, and I think that's going to be a big loss depending on how long he's out. Both you and Ray think that this is not really an injury thing, just a rest type of thing, just try and limit the wear and tear because he's never seen this many innings. He's never gone this deep into a season. But still, I think this is still a big loss if we lose him for more than this start.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a loss. Like I said, I'm not really sure how much of the reason of the injury coming into play. But his innings were racking up, and I'd rather see him not pitch for the next 3 weeks and get ready for the postseason, personally.
I wouldn't go as far as to say 3 weeks, especially with all the injuries that we have. No Severino, Schmidt is he pitched well. Couldn't close out the game the other night, but he still pitched well. He'll probably see some rotation minutes. in the coming weeks. But I don't think we could afford to lose Nestor for more than this start, honestly. Because again, he's just been our most consistent guy. Cole has had his monthly collapse. Um,
Yeah, I
Tyon, I've
agree.
never been a fan of. He can't go past 6, and Nestor isn't a guy that will give you a complete game shutout Maddox like one Jordan Montgomery did like earlier this week. Man, Jordan Montgomery would be nice to have right now. That's all I'm saying. But
Oh, we're not even going there. Leaving that alone. Not even
I'm just
going there.
saying,
The guy, for the first time in his
complete game
career,
Maddox,
goes
one
for.
hitter.
Yeah, who was it against?
We don't need to talk. We don't need to mention who it was against at all, right? Like
No, I was just wondering. I'm
it
asking
just
for a friend.
matters. It just matters that that it happened, right? Like Jordan Montgomery playing really well.
Hey,
You love to see it.
my man. I was just asking. I was just asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend, it might have been against might have been against Chicago, but you know,
Okay. Oh, the Chicago Cubs, who are probably top 3 worst teams in the league. Listen, man, I get Montgomery. Look, that trade right now is really not looking good. Right now, it's not. You got one guy who's pitching really good. You got one guy who's not even taking the field. I get it, man. It looks lopsided. But when Bader comes back and plays a Gold Glove center field, saves runs, and Montgomery goes back to being the 5 2/3, 5 1/3 inning guy, who all of a sudden throws a complete game, one hitter. Are you freaking kidding me, dude?
Maddox
Like,
less than 100 pitches too.
yeah. Listen, man, it's probably a nice scenery change for him, but I still don't miss him, man. I was still driving to the airport tomorrow if I had to, just so you know where I stand on it.
Well, we're looking at stuff in the past right now, and of course, you know when we look at the guys that we got in the trade deadline, one guy that's really you know been the guy that we needed was Andrew Benintendi. Benintendi has
Yep.
been the guy that was advertised, and man, we wish that most guys that we pick up, guys like Joey Gallo, who's doing really well in Dodger blue now, but Andrew Benintendi is a guy that we got that was advertised and great fielder, made that great diving stop in Boston.
Yeah.
And he hits for average, he gets RBIs, he gets on base. So Benintendi has been a great pickup. Montas over
Absolutely.
the last 2 starts, I feel like has done really well. Honestly, he probably would have walked away with the win the other night if it wasn't for Gleyber Torres trying to make that play at second.
I honestly, not gonna lie to you, man. That play, I really didn't know what the kid was thinking, dude. To be really honest with you, I don't even know at all what he was
I
thinking.
I think it was just a tunnel vision thing. Like I think he checked third. If you watch the video, he checks third. He sees that Alonso not only tripped, but it looked like he was returning to the bag, and then he saw how far Nimmo not Nimmo was it it wasn't Nimmo.
It,
Jesus, who was it?
no, Alonso wasn't going. McNeil.
McNeil. He was trying to get
McNeil
McNeil
was
at
that
second.
second.
Yeah, he saw how far McNeil was off the bag, and he kind of had that tunnel vision, and Alonso took advantage, and but other than that, Montas, he pitched pretty well against a very good Mets team. So I
Struck out
feel
5 in
like,
a row at one point. His stuff looked really good.
yeah, I don't think, as opposed to Benintendi, as I mentioned a second ago, he's been the guy that has been advertised. Montas hasn't been just that yet, but I feel like he's starting to make that turn that a lot of people recognize how great of a pitcher he really is, and I think he'll be the perfect 3-4 guy behind Severino and behind Cortez when they come back. I don't think he'll be the 2 guy that we talked about when we were looking at him. When we were looking at both him and Castillo, like we thought that they were going to be the number 2 guy behind Cole. I'd probably stick Montas right now behind fully healthy Severino and Cortez.
Yeah, you think?
I think so. I just maybe it's because I didn't watch a ton of Oakland games over the last couple of years. Montas wasn't he was a guy on my radar, but he's not a guy that I paid too much attention to. And when you have a homegrown talent like Severino, who you know can pitch really well in a playoff setting, he could be an ace when fully healthy. I feel like he would definitely be a guy that I'd put above Montas in the rotation. And then you got Cortez, who's having a career year, ride the hot hand. And I think if this injury is what we think it is, and it's just a rest type of thing, like a phantom IL stint that a lot of people think that Clay Holmes has gotten and Albert Abreu have gotten, and I think Montas is going to be the guy that you throw in behind those guys, just because I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it in pinstripes. I know he was great in Oakland, but I haven't seen it in pinstripes yet. I mean, other than that, you also got the other call ups. Where you got Oswaldo Cabrera, who has been outstanding, like all over the field defensively. Sure, the stick still hasn't translated from AAA, where he was hitting like 270 and had like 12 home runs in a limited amount of games because he was injured. But Cabrera has been a nice jolt of energy for this team on the defensive end, playing second, playing short, playing right field. He made another stellar play in right field, gunning down McNeil at the end of that inning. All right, bye, Tommy. He made a play at the end of that inning, guns down McNeil, and ends up saving a run that would have ended up costing us at the end of the game, especially when at the end of the game you had bases loaded, Wandy Peralta. In a one-run game, Peralta was able to close it out, but I don't know how trustworthy you can definitely leave that guy in that close of a game. But either way, Yankees end up taking both games against the Mets, able to tie up the season series because you had Mets taking the first two about a month ago. This is a team that, again, I want to see in October, but also don't want to see in October because they're very good and we didn't see their best pitcher. Max Scherzer, we saw both sides of Max Scherzer. We saw it a month ago when he went like 6 strong innings, struck out Judge 3 times, and then we saw this Max Scherzer where he gave up a few runs, gave up the home run to Judge, and I'm not quite sure what we're going to see out of this Mets team. I'm not saying you're wrong. You might need some new gear, but that's neither here nor there. We're here to talk about some Yankees baseball right now. And right now we have the Oakland A's to look forward to. Their lineup has been published. Still waiting on ours. But it's really nothing to write home about. We also have the Angels after that, who, man, if you look at the first month and a half of the season for the Angels and then just look where they are now, it's just a fall from grace. They looked like they were going to be a really competitive team out in the West with Seattle and with Houston, and especially given the talent that they have with Mike Trout, who some call the best player of all time, and Ohtani, who is the best two-way player since Babe Ruth 100 years ago. It's really disappointing to see where they are right now at 52 and 72, 30 games under 500. But we are facing them after this Oakland series, so we're going to pray on their downfall for those 3 games that we see them. After that, we have Tampa. We have a 3-game series against Tampa, who have taken second place in the AL East. They're now 7 games behind the Yankees after a win today against the Angels. The Toronto Blue Jays are 8 out in the East. The Orioles are actually closing in on a wild card spot if they could stay as hot as they were a couple of weeks ago. They're not completely out of the running, and Boston is 5th right now. Boston's a weird team, especially because they didn't really make that big move that a lot of people thought they were at the deadline. Guys like JD Martinez, guys like Xander Bogaerts, Rafael Devers, they were all on the block. It seemed like they were all getting calls, but they didn't move any of them, and who knows if they could even retain them past the next couple of years.
Well, that's the thing. Obviously, what that would say to me is that if they didn't move those guys, they're going to be making deals in the offseason to improve that team to get better. They're not just closing up shop and shipping them out, right? And starting over. They want to keep Devers. They want to keep JD. I don't know what they're going to do with Xander, but like keeping those guys, it seems like they're going to try to make another run with Trevor Story, obviously there. They're going to make some moves to try to improve that team, and I don't think they're going to go anywhere. I anticipate them getting better.
Even like their roster, like their pitching just hasn't been what it was, especially because they lost their ace, and who knows if Chris Sale will ever be what he was in Chicago or his first couple years in Boston, and that was their ace, that was their guy.
You would have to say no. That's I mean, if you're gonna pick one thing, you would have to say no, right?
Yeah, because you got who's the second best starter on that team? Like,
anytime, baby girl.
Garrett Whitlock.
How much it cost? You good?
Maybe Matt Barnes. Like it's really questionable on who's going to be the new ace of that Boston team.
All right.
This is it's going to be.
I'll text you.
This division is still fantastic. You still have 4 teams above 500. Baltimore would be fighting for first place in the AL Central right now. And they're the 4th seed here in the East. So you can never count out anybody, but if you can count out anybody right now, it's Boston. But every other team is right now in the running for a playoff spot when it comes to the AL East. Go on.
I think the NL East is pretty damn good too. Mets, Braves, and the NL East. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I've been waving the Philly flag
just like
for a little while.
Speaking about divisions.
Yeah,
they're on a good run right now. The Mets are obviously really good. The Braves are really good. I'll tell you right now, I didn't think so, but the one thing I will agree with Starangelo with, that maniac who I love him, but the Braves probably have the best lineup in baseball, 1-9.
What's their 1-9? They got Olsen, Acuna. Ozuna's still in that lineup.
Albies.
And he's been fucking dog shit.
Yeah, Acuna hasn't been that great, but you still have Acuna, Albies, Olsen, Austin Riley. Like, that team is just what's his face who just got a DUI?
That was Ozuna.
Marcell Ozuna. Yeah, they got a good dude. Look at that lineup 1-9. We only said D'Arnaud is pretty good, still can hit.
Travis Darno, Swanson, William Contreras, Eddie Rosario.
How good is that lineup?
They brought up that rookie Grisham.
Yep, Grisham, who said that he's so happy he's not a Met. But yeah, they got probably got the best lineup in baseball 1-9 when they're good, when they're clicking. I think so, but obviously that's off the beaten path what we're talking about. But
if you want to stay on this path, you got to look at San Diego when they get Tatis, because they have Kim, they have now Soto, they have Machado. They have a really good lineup themselves. Yankees, I think, have a case. At least if Trevino can somewhat play how he did towards midseason. He's definitely taken a step back, but Rizzo, Glaber when he's on, maybe not IKF, DJ, Donaldson when he's on, Stanton, Bader, Judge. I feel like that's a pretty solid lineup 1-9.
Yeah, I think the Yankees lineup when healthy, they're top 5 lineup in baseball. Definitely.
Absolutely. But yeah, division-wise, looking towards the playoffs, I still think the Yankees are I don't think they're going to fall off a cliff. Now, if we go into this Rays series next week and get swept in all 3 games in Tampa, that's when I'd show some concern.
I'm concerned right now, but I'm not worried.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
my 1 to 10, on a scale of 1 to 10 right now, I'm like a 4 about the Yankees. I'm not in that 7 or 8 territory. I'm like a 4 right now. Do I like what I see? No. Do I want to see improvements? Yes. But I'm not just saying, oh my God, this team is awful. Like they weren't playing. What were they winning games at like a 70% clip to start the season? They're not
Pretty much.
that team, but they're not a team that was what 4-14 from the All-Star break. Now 7-14 out after the 3-game win streak. They're not that 7-14 team either. I think they're somewhere in between, more so on the better side than the worse side. But they got to get better. Injuries are starting to take a toll. You know, and the longer you use guys that are not supposed to be in those key bullpen spots, the more they get exposed.
Yeah. Just to look at the guys that we have on the IL right now. Nestor Cortez added today. Miguel Castro, Clay Holmes, Michael King, Luis Severino, Matt Carpenter, Chad Green, Harrison Bader, and Scott Efros. Those are big names that we're missing out of this. Not only the lineup but the rotation mainly. Especially, when you look at that back end when, Zach Britton did start his single A rehab. We talked about what in the group chat, like what would he bring to this team and if he can even make it before the postseason. It's not looking great. It's not looking promising that Zach Britton will be on this team, but even then, Clay Holmes, Michael King, Scott Efros, and Miguel Castro, those are big guys, and Chad Green in the back end of the bullpen that we're missing right now. And even Albert Abreu, he's a guy that can eat up an inning. I'm not the biggest fan, and I think that he should be one of the first guys gone when these guys come back. But we'll see what this team can do top to bottom. Peralta has stepped up in some big moments. I don't necessarily trust him that much, but he stepped up in some big moments. Jonathan Loaizaga looks like he's captured some of his stuff back, coming off his injury and a bit of a down year. He's been looking good the last 4 or 5 games. Aroldis Chapman, he's hit or miss, but when he's on, he's been on. He's had that a couple of rough games, but the guy that, has really been the star of this bullpen so far has been Ron Marinaccio, Karate Kid himself. He's just been dominant, like the damn near the entire season. At one point at the beginning of the year, his first couple of appearances, he looked rough. Like, yeah, that's just plain. It was plain to see that he looked rough. It was a rough transition, but man, the last 3 months, 4 months, he's been just absolutely dominant. Only 1 run in the last 25 2/3 innings, 4 hits and 29 strikeouts in 25 2/3 innings. Is it time to maybe consider him for that closer role? With Holmes, even before his IL stint, looking like he was starting to struggle, starting to look like a little bit more of his Pittsburgh self. And then Chapman, you don't necessarily trust him, and you haven't for the last 4 or 5 years. Michael King out, Chad Green out, Britton out. I think it's around the time where we start looking at Ron Marinaccio as a serious contender, as a closer for at least the remainder of the season until somebody like Holmes can bounce back or somebody like Chapman can really just cement themselves as this is the guy. But right now, there's nobody more reliable in that bullpen than Ron Marinaccio. And even if you want to look at, towards later Lou Trevino as well. Lou Trevino had a really good performance last a couple of days ago. 7 outs. He got the win, 1 walk, no hits. But when you look towards the postseason, when we have to start making the cuts, Ron Marinaccio should not be a man that's on the chopping block or sent down, because he has been the guy this year. And when he was sent down earlier in the year, a lot of people were upset. And when he was sent down again, a lot of people were upset. So I think if there's anybody in the bullpen with more, there's nobody in the bullpen right now with more job security than Ron Marinaccio. He's been that guy. And again, now looking towards the latter end, if we do get some of these guys back, you expect Cortez back, you expect Severino back. That means I feel like somebody in the rotation right now gets pushed to the pen. Right now, I would probably send Tyone down rather than Domingo. Domingo has been pretty good. He's been more than pretty good even. He's been excellent ever since the first couple of starts, where really he was put in a really bad position. He came back, immediately got thrown to the Wolves against Houston, and then got put up against the Mets when they were riding high. He bounced back against the Mets, and ever since then, in his last 5 starts, he's got a 2.67 ERA. He's been really, really good. Welcome back, Tommy. You're good. Right now I'm just talking about what come postseason time. We talked about it in the group chat earlier. What are the moves that need to be made come postseason time? We talked about it last week too. Who's going to be the guy that's pushed to the bullpen, and who's going to be the guy that ends up getting sent down or getting cut?
Good question. I'll tell you what. I'm liking what I'm seeing on lately. I think he's been really solid. You can use him out of the bullpen as a first starter. Heavy in the bullpen. There's going to be some choices to be made. I'll tell you, the guaranteed 3 starters are
Cole, Montas, Cole, and Cortez.
That's it. That's a guaranteed 3. I don't know what you want to do after that. You want to go Severino? You want to go?
Well, let me list the guys again that we're not going to get back. King, Chad Green are out for the rest of the year. They're not coming back. Those are back end guys that could be useful. Miguel Castro was also a question mark. I heard his rehab hasn't gone that well, and he was already on the 60-day.
And this is why I have the list here too. This is what I have as the 4 starters as of right now: Cole, Nestor, Montas, and Severino. That's my 4 starters right now. And then at this 26-man roster, okay? 26-man roster. So those are the 4 starters. You're going to have Chap, Marinaccio, Peralta, Trevino, Holmes, Efrash, and Schmidt. That's 7 relievers. That puts you and Loizaga. That's 12 relievers. That puts you at 14 position players. Now here the position players. You got Higgy and Trevino.
Catcher. Okay.
You got Rizzo, LeMahieu, Torres, Donaldson, Judge, Benintendi, Bader, probably Aaron Hicks,
Stanton.
That puts you at how many guys already, dude? So I don't know where you're gonna go for bullpen help. I don't know where you're gonna go. Like it's gonna be those 12 guys for the bullpen and 14 position players probably.
Well, I'm of the belief that guys like Albert Abreu, guys like Lucas Litke, guys like Marwin, they're just redundancies at this point. I think Oswaldo Cabrera is doing everything that Marwin Gonzalez was doing all season, but better. You want a middle infielder that can make some plays? That's Oswaldo Cabrera. You want an outfielder that can make some plays? That's Oswaldo Cabrera. Marwin Gonzalez has really not done anything. He's got 2 hits in 2 months. One of them was off a position player. I think he should be one of the first guys shipped, if not the first guy shipped off this team when it's time to make those decisions.
I agree, because you have Cabrera, who could be the new utility guy, and he's young, and he brings energy to the team, and he has good at-bats. His bats will get better. His defense, come on, man. How many plays has he already made? The one where he slid into the tarp and cut his nose, right? The one in the outfield, throwing the guy out at home. Like all those
first game in right field, robbing a home run on the first pitch of the game.
Very good defensively. His bat will come around. And I'd rather see him be on the roster than Marwin Gonzalez. And nothing against Marwin. Thank you for being the utility guy. Thank you for not making us have someone like Tyler Wade be there. But your time is up. We got a young, good player in Cabrera, and let's see what's up.
I'm a Tyler Wade believer. I'm gonna let that slide though, because he's.
You know what?
I'm a Tyler Wade believer.
If you are a freaking the guy we just sent to if you're a Montgomery guy, I figured you'd be a Wade guy.
I'm definitely a Tyler Wade guy. I like him for the sheer fact that he's a utility guy, and when he's a great pinch runner. He's not a guy that I would start ever, but he's a guy that, if I need somebody to pinch run for Gleyber Torres and give me pretty decent defense at second base or at shortstop, sure, give me Tyler Wade.
Yeah, that's another guy with a hole in it for a bat.
Yeah. Yeah, but I listen. I just like my speedy. I like my speedy middle infielders.
You know it's bad when the Anaheim Angels at 52 and 72 DFAU.
Well, they DFA'd him a couple months ago, but I see your point. But let's not pretend that the Angels have always made the best roster decisions. You know?
No, but listen, if Tyler Wade wasn't as fast as he was, would he even be a major league ball player? Honestly, answer yourself that question. He's good defensively, but he has no bat. I'd rather give up a little bit defensively and have a guy who can actually hit maybe 250 for us.
Well, that's not Marwin either, so.
No, and that's the problem. That's why I think that it's good to let these young guys come up, like bring this kid Cabrera up and see what he's got for a little while.
No, I definitely think Cabrera is going to be on the roster for at least the rest of the regular season. Like I said, I mentioned in the group chat, it depends what they do when Harrison Bader comes back. When this becomes a 26-man roster, for the 28-man roster, I think it's pretty secure. I don't think we're going to call anybody up special or anything. I feel like Cabrera and Schmidt have locked their spots for the rest of the regular season at least. But come postseason time, when we have to make those cuts again, there are just some guys that I don't think should be on a team, like Abreu, like Litke, because again, Litke's just a redundancy. We have our lefties, and especially if Zach Britton does come back, which I did mention, it's a long shot. He only just now started single A, only pitched 12 pitches. But if Zach Britton comes back, Lucas Litke is he's just not needed, and he's not needed now.
Can we please get rid of this guy, Lucas Litke, man?
Yeah, he's not needed now. Albert Abreu, I get it. He throws 100. He's got some cool stuff, but he walks a ton of guys. He's not the greatest. And when we have guys like Holmes back in there, when we have these back end guys back, I don't see a reason for him to be on the team as well.
No, and that's what I was watching. I forgot what game it was, but I think it was the game that Abreu came in and gave up the home run, and they were like, Michael Kay was talking about how the Yankees are intrigued by Abreu because of how good his stuff is, and they want to figure him out. Like that's what they really want to like try to use.
Sign him to a minor league deal. He does not belong on the major league level right now.
Yep, I agree.
Like again, I was at the game when the Yankees played Houston. He looked fine. He walked two guys, but you see a guy that can throw 101, 99 consistently, but he just can't find the plate, and when he does, he gets dinged. And that's just not a guy we need coming out of the pen, especially in crucial situations. And guys right now on the 26 roster, Luke Bard is also definitely gone. He's definitely going to be sent down as soon as somebody comes back. Luke Bard's the first man out. But Marwin, Litke, and Abreu definitely should be gone. I would definitely replace them with Schmidt, with Oswaldo. Maybe you want to call up another pitcher. Maybe Garcia had a good outing last game, apparently. Struck out 10. But I don't think he's ready for postseason ball yet. But yeah. You also, there's the possibility of Matt Carpenter coming back. Severino's probably going to come back. Clay Holmes probably going to come back. Harrison Bader is probably going to come back. And I don't think I'm not sure if you mentioned him, but Efros is probably going to be coming back before the postseason as well. So there's only so many spots to give, and there's just guys on this team that I don't think need to be here come postseason time. But let's we're looking to the future. Let's look a little bit more short term. When it comes to this AL East, we have 6 games. 6 of our next 11 games are coming up against Tampa Bay. And we already talked about how they have they're only 7 games behind. Do you think that there is a chance that Tampa Bay could be a dark horse in the American League? Presently built. No Tyler Glass now. No Mike Zunino. Do you think that they could be a threat in the American League right now?
I personally, I don't think so. Could they be a threat to us? Yeah, because the Yankees have trouble with Tampa, but I don't think they could be that much of a threat. I think they're down to the Yankees in Houston, and that's really all I see. To be honest with you, I know we're scuffling right now, dude. I'll be the first to admit it and the first to say it. But if you're gonna tell me what you're scared of Cleveland.
No. The Central is cooked. The Central,
Well, that's
whoever
what I'm
makes it
saying.
out of the
So
Central
if
is
you
cooked.
look at the other AL teams, that's what I'm saying. Like besides the Yankees and the Astros, who are you really worried about?
Listen, there's always going to be that trap team that will beat a team that they're not supposed to.
And that could be Seattle.
You think it's Seattle?
Yes. Now I don't know exactly where they are in the wild card standings, but
right now they hold the final spot.
Okay, so right now, let's just say they got a good enough rotation with Castillo, Gilbert, and the other guy that they can make some noise. And Julio's back. So I put that team up there as the third team in the East who can make some noise. Minnesota doesn't scare me.
Minnesota's 4 games out. Baltimore's 2.5.
Yeah,
Chicago's 4 games out.
That are even close. Let's just say teams that are like within 5 games of a wild card spot. Baltimore,
Minnesota, and Chicago.
Minnesota, the White Sox, the Cleveland Guardians. Those teams don't scare me, bro. It's literally us and Houston, and that's it in the American League. That's it.
Yeah, I agree to a point, but man, this team needs to turn it around. This team needs to show some life.
Oh yeah,
and like I said, if we go into Tampa Bay and I'm not even saying if we get swept at this point. If we lose that series, I'm going to be a little bit concerned. If we lose 2 out of 3 in Tampa Bay, I'm going to be a little concerned. I'm not going to look at this team the same way. But before that Tampa series, we do have 7 games against subpar teams. We do have this 4-game series against Oakland, who may be one of the worst teams in baseball and is definitely the worst team in the American League. And then we have 3 against the Angels, who have been the most disappointing team in baseball all year, probably. I think it's safe to say that the Angels are the most disappointing team in baseball.
And really quick off topic, this is what bothers me about the AL MVP. I don't care that Ohtani pitches and plays the field. I think it's amazing. I truly do. I really think it's amazing. But that team is 52-72. That American League MVP dude should not go again to Ohtani. I don't care how amazing what he's doing.
Well, it gets to the Trout argument as well, where Mike Trout has more MVPs than he has playoff appearances. So I think the MLB is probably the only sport in at least North America, of the big 4 North American sports, where you can win an MVP and be on a shitty team. That doesn't happen in the NBA. That doesn't happen in the NHL. That doesn't happen in the NFL. Yeah. Baseball is the only sport in America where you could be on a terrible team, but if you look good individually, you're gonna have a shot at MVP.
That's why for many years I have always said they should name it something else then. Give it to the most outstanding player. Something. Don't call it the most valuable. Because you want to know what? Ohtani's not that valuable to the Angels. They're 52-72. Do me a favor. Take away Aaron Judge. The Yankees might not even be winning the division.
Yeah, take away 48 home runs, 103 RBIs.
Hey, that's my point. That's my point right there. Take Judge off of the Yankees. They don't have a 7-game lead.
No, very, very true. I mean, if you want to look at it in the most casual standpoint possible, Shohei Ohtani is so valuable to the Angels that they thought about trading him at the deadline.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see if we can go ahead and trade the guy. Let's just go ahead and see if we can trade the guy who is the most valuable player in the league. Let's get rid of him at the deadline and maybe send him to the Mets. Because the guy who's like the Mets GM had a good relationship with the guy or whatever, like his agent or something. Like, come on, stop. You don't even think about trading the MVP. You build around him. Okay, so let's stop that chatter. I know it's a little off topic, but that always riles me up. So I apologize.
No. It makes sense because if we're talking about the MVP, it should be Aaron Judge. There's really not anybody that should be relatively close right now.
No.
Maybe Yordan Alvarez. Maybe he's played really well in Houston. He's hitting 300, but he has nowhere near the OPS of Aaron Judge.
Guy was in the field. He took out his rookie all-star shortstop Pena, okay? The guy's a travesty out in the outfield. The guy's a horror show. He's a great bat. Leave it at that. He should not be playing left field.
Yeah, but yeah, like I'm in agreement that Judge should have such a lead on MVP that he could sit out the rest of the season. He could probably have it locked up still.
You want to have a couple guys in there? I mean, Lindor can get votes. He's been great.
Well, that's NL.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying if you want to have an argument for the NL, I get it.
Oh.
Goldschmidt, Lindor's been great. Even Alonso.
I think Goldie got it locked up because the Cardinals have been so good. He's near triple crown.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but there's more of an argument for the NL than it is the AL.
Oh yeah, of course.
I think the AL's locked up. I think Goldie got it locked up too. That guy's unbelievable. But I think there's both ways. But like I said, getting back to who I'm scared of in the American League, Houston. That's it.
I just think Tampa Bay is that trap team, especially because it's the Yankees and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is that thorn in the side that the Yankees just can't seem to trump when it matters, and that's really my only fear. And of course, in the NL, we've talked about it: the Mets, the Dodgers, maybe the Padres. They can turn it around. I
got the Padres, honestly, not doing much. I got the Braves, the Mets, and the Dodgers as my 3 in the National League.
All right, again. If there's a trap team in the National League, I do think it's Philly. Just because a fully healthy Philly squad is not one that I would want to face.
But they had more hitting.
What's up?
I thought it could be the Brewers if they had more offense.
If Christian Yelich can remember that he's Christian Yelich, I think that they'd be really good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. More offense out of the Brewers, and I would put them up there. But
yeah, well, right now Milwaukee's about a game and a half out, but they're really the only team that's within 5. So the NL more or less is looking like it's going to be the Dodgers, the Mets, the Cardinals, Atlanta, Philly, San Diego, and Milwaukee is the only team that's on the outside looking in right now with a shot. In the American League, you got Houston, the Yankees, Cleveland, Tampa Bay, Toronto, Seattle. It's a little bit more closer for the wild cards because you have Baltimore, Minnesota, and Chicago all within 5, but we all know that the Central, whoever makes it out of there, is probably going to get cooked. There's probably only going to be one team coming out of the Central. So, yeah, I don't really know how much you want to look at Minnesota and Chicago. Like I said, the one team that I want to see make it is Baltimore. Just because, one, I think it would do really well. It's a good story. They're not the biggest market in the league. They have one of the lowest payrolls in the league. Camden Yards is one of the most beautiful fields in the league.
Yeah.
And it's a rebuild that has taken time. They got Cedric Mullins. They got Adley Rutschman, who looks damn near like already one of the best catchers in baseball. But yeah, I think it's going to be, oh, never mind. Yep. Zach Wheeler immediately 15-day DL. Well, there goes Philly. There goes Philly.
Praise Philly, bro. Look what happens.
Yeah. But they lose Zach Wheeler. They got Bryce Harper back today.
Oh, Harper's back?
Harper's back. But, this is a Yankees podcast. Let's get back to it. Who would you say right now is the closer of this team? Fully healthy. If we have everybody back healthy that can play this season, so, of course, not King or Green or Britton, you'd say it's Clay Holmes?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. The guys that, I would think, Loizaga, he's played well over the last 5. Chapman, hit or miss. Schmidt, honestly, I might consider Clark Schmidt as that guy.
You got not only you, me, every Yankee fan got what they need to know about Aroldis Chapman in this bullpen, okay? The fact that they let Clark Schmidt come out for that 3rd inning of work lets you know right now how they feel about Chapman closing out a 4-2 ball game. Honestly, I know Clark Schmidt's been starting in the minors. He's been throwing 65 pitches a game, so his pitch count at 40 to start the inning wasn't that bad. But come on, dude.
I mean, even if you want to look at it under a microscope, he had like 14 2-strike counts.
Yes. But I'm just saying, dude, that shows you right there, Bob, that you don't even think the chat. They didn't even know. He didn't say, "Oh, Rogers, go warm up."
Yeah, Wandy was the guy that got up.
You left that dude on the sideline, bro, on the bench, out in the outfield, in the bullpen, sitting there talking to himself. You got Wandy Peralta to come into the game. That just tells you right now what Boone thinks about Chapman in a tough spot. Honestly.
All right, fair enough. You know, you also got Lou Trevino, Scott Efros played really well before he got hurt. It's just I feel like we saw regression in Clay Holmes before his injury, and that's why I'm not 100% in on Holmes right now. Just because, you know, he looked like his Pittsburgh form, he lost a little bit of his control, and maybe it was the wear and tear of the season, maybe it was just him in big spots, you know, the big spots were starting to mount, but you know, it's a discussion. I don't think it's a completely closed case that it should be Clay Holmes. He's the front runner, but I don't think it should be a closed case when it comes to this team, especially with, you know, again, Schmidt playing really well. If you want to put him on the roster, but you don't want to start him come playoff time, put him as a 7th, 8th, 9th inning guy if you need it. Loizaga, he's played pretty well, especially now with Holmes out right now. Who the closer of this team is up in the air. I feel like right now, if anybody is going to make a case, I think it's either between Loizaga or Trevino that are going to, you know, try and make that push for the closer spot.
Is this with Holmes out? You're saying right now?
With Holmes out right now, I feel like there's a competition can be had for when he comes back.
Right now, the two guys I think you got it exactly right are Loizaga and Trevino. Yes. Those are the two guys. But like I said, you first asked the question of everybody healthy. Right now, those two are the guys that I would go to in a 9th inning spot with a 3-run, 2-run lead.
Right. But here's what I'm saying about that. That's why I'm saying when they're healthy, I'm saying that a competition can be had right now, that when Holmes comes back, that there could still be a competition, especially with the way he looked before he went out.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, though, the fact that he went on the injury list really says to me that he might have been hurting a little bit before that, but didn't want to say nothing and wasn't pitching well.
Well, what was his injury? What did they list him as? Was it back spasms?
Back. Maybe he was. Listen, I don't know about mechanics, man. I don't know. Maybe something wasn't right when we was, you know, in the process of getting deep into throwing or pushing off or his, you know, whatever. I don't know what it could be, but it makes sense that the guy's injured a week later after he's been bad for a week stretch or 2-week stretch, you know, sometimes. Yeah. But we have enough guys on this team, like you said, to fill in the meantime. Let Trevino and Loizaga be those two guys. And then, yeah, maybe you can make a case for a competition when Holmes comes back. But again, Holmes is going to miss probably what? He's already been out 10 days, right? 2 weeks.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he'll be out much longer, but he's still going to be out for about a week or two. Okay. I'd be surprised if we see him on this road trip.
All right, let's call it 3 weeks to a month. He'll be out. You think he's going to come right out of the gate in a 4-2 lead and come right out there? I don't know. I think he might ease his way back into getting some innings under his belt before he's in a closer's role. So you might have something there, you know, with Loizaga and Trevino being the guy.
Right. And also, you know, when Efros comes back, he might. I think Efros would be the perfect setup guy for right now. When he's healthy, because he's got some nasty stuff, sidearm stuff.
Kind of sucked when he went down with the injury last week, to be honest with you. I was like, really, man, we got this guy controlled for the next 5 years on a rookie deal at 28 years old. And this guy has to miss time right now. He was pitching so well for us. And honestly, dude, I'm not going to lie to you, brother. My boy Marinaccio.
I talked about that when you were away. He might have a case as well.
I might let him close the game.
You know, I talked about it. 20, damn near 30 innings. He's only allowed 1 run in the last 3 months.
Just so you know, that's one of my good friend's cousin.
Really?
Yeah, my buddy Jack Castellano. What's up, Jack? I love you, kiddo. One of my good buddies, him and his sister Teresa, who I know really well. That's their cousin. Yeah, pretty cool.
That's fucking awesome.
On Facebook yesterday. So great to see my cousin Rob doing really well in the majors and blah blah blah. I made a comment saying I love watching him pitch. He's great, and yeah, man, it's pretty cool, right? Oh
yeah, that's awesome. That's pretty cool, especially you You know, especially because this guy might be a big part of the future of this team.
So he said. So what he said about himself is that he needed the confidence, is what he said. Actually, he goes, "I think I finally feel like I belong in the major leagues, and I feel like I could actually get out major league hitters." He goes, "I always knew I had good stuff, but my confidence wasn't there." The guy's on a good run right now. I wouldn't mind, dude. I'm telling you right now, I would feel really good tonight if we're up 4-2 and they went to Marinaccio. I feel confident. He's good.
Yeah, I can see it. I can definitely see it. Do you think? But do you think when Holmes comes back that he would still have a case?
I think Holmes is still the closer, and they would probably give him maybe 3 to 4 appearances to work his way back up to getting the closer job. But I still think it's his, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like not necessarily rehab, but just to make sure that he's still closer caliber.
Only a 10-day stint, right? This is going to be 3 weeks to a month. So he's going to probably need a couple outings in the minors if that's even still going on by the time he's ready to come back. So I don't think he's going to be ready like, 4-3 against the Red Sox, bring in Holmes. Like, I don't know if that would happen. But
yeah. So, like after the Minnesota series, we play Tampa again at home, and I'm not sure if I would throw him in there.
4-3 in the top of the 9th. Do you want to put him against Tampa? Probably not for his first game back, right? Let's just say.
Yeah.
So,
and I would say that's around the time he would be expected back to.
Yeah, I still think it's his job once again, but I don't know if it's his job right off the rip as soon as he comes back, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, you're making a lot of sense.
Kind of like a basketball player, right? All right, cool. LeBron, not LeBron. A good player's coming back, but he's on a minute restriction because he missed a month. So he might only play 18 minutes a game, but pretty soon we're getting him back to that 30 minutes a game. That's kind of the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, if you want to stay with the Lakers, someone like Anthony Davis who gets injured every fucking 2 weeks.
Player who we need, but let's get him some minutes under his belt before we go out there for 35 a game. Very soon.
Yeah. True. All right, so Tommy, you got anything to add before we get into this top 10? Because goddamn, they still have not released that lineup or who's starting tonight.
Honestly, man, I don't really have that much to add. I just want to see this team be a little more fired up, man. A little more animated, right? Like, I think Cole was a fake tough guy the other day yelling at Manoah when he hit Judge. It was kind of funny. Manoah was like, "Oh, come across the Audi sign next time." That was actually very funny. But I want more fire out of that team. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys are reeling. You're 7-14. Like, let's go. I want to see you get pumped up after a home run, after a base hit. Like, hit somebody. Like, do something. Like, let's show some. You know what I'm saying? Like, show some
fire, some sparks, yeah.
That's all I'm asking out of this team. I think we're fine. I think we'll be good, but just give me something that makes me be like, yeah, let's fucking go, kind of a deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, as I say it, they just released. Tyon is going to be the starter tonight.
Okay.
Batting first, playing left is Benintendi. Batting second and playing center is Judge. Batting third and DHing is Giancarlo Stanton. Batting fourth, playing first is Rizzo. Batting fifth, playing second is Torres. Batting sixth, playing third is Donaldson. Batting seventh, playing right field is Oswaldo.
Okay.
Batting eighth, catching is Trevino, and IKF is batting ninth at short.
Okay.
So no DJ LeMahieu tonight.
Okay, no LeMahieu tonight. Now what you do see is who's the guy that's been really relegated to the bench a lot?
Aaron Hicks.
He started in the last, since the last 8 games since Cabrera came up. I think he made 1 start.
Well, that's going to get even shorter when Bader comes back next month.
Back 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. Yep.
Well, we expected that. We expected that even when Benintendi came back, came over here, that Aaron Hicks would see a lesser role, and then we got Bader. So, yeah, Hicks is definitely going to be the odd man out. I've been since week 1. You can go back to episode 1. I've been saying we need to get rid of Aaron Hicks for a long time now.
I tell you, I was one of the few guys that didn't mind that deal when it first, like I said, when it first happened. 7 for $70. That was a good price for a switch Gold Glove caliber center fielder. It was a good deal.
Gold Glove caliber center fielder.
Aaron Hicks at that when we signed him to the deal. Not now, Bob.
Maybe I need to think back, but man, right now I cannot think that he is a Gold Glove caliber center fielder.
Was a Gold Glove caliber center fielder for the Twins a couple years in a row. Fast, a hose for an arm until he got hurt with his elbow. But, dude, he was a very good center fielder. Very good. 7 for 70 was a good deal. Look at some of the deals going around baseball. 5 years ago, 4 years ago when he signed him, it wasn't a bad deal. Now it's not looking good because he really, really hasn't been good. But, dude, when that deal was signed, I didn't mind it.
It was the thing that it was the length of the contract, knowing that we had to pay Aaron Judge in the middle of that contract.
Yeah, but you want to know what, though? Listen, how about 8 years, 127 for Jacoby Ellsbury? That's my point.
Well, Jacoby Ellsbury he wasn't just a Gold Glove candidate. He was a damn near MVP candidate in Boston.
I'm saying, talk about a big deal for. It's not like you know, your boy Ellsbury's up here and Hicks was down here as a player. They weren't that far apart.
I'd say Ellsbury was better.
No, he definitely was better, but not like a huge gap.
Peak for peak, Ellsbury clears him, I would say, pretty handily.
7 for 70 was a good deal for Hicks. Right now, it's not looking good because he's been really bad. But
he's been bad. He's been hurt, and we have to pay people. And that's that. Again, I had no problem with Aaron Hicks. It was the length and money tied to him. If he signed for $8 million a year for 5 years, fine. It's that he got $10 million a year, knowing that we're already paying Garrett Cole, knowing that we're already paying Giancarlo Stanton. Then we take on the Donaldson contract. Aaron Judge needs to get paid. I would say, listen, if Aaron Judge saw $10 more million at midseason or at the beginning of the year, I think he might be a Yankee for the next 10 years. But because that $10 million wasn't there, because it's under Aaron Hicks's name, it's under the wrong Aaron's name.
Hey, you, Ron.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying. I get the frustration, but I think at that time it wasn't that terrible of a deal. But I'm ready to hear your top 10. But I want to hear this one. I'm ready to go ham on it if it ain't great. So I want to hear.
Listen. It may ruffle some feathers, but I feel like the top 6 I think should be damn near unanimous.
All right. Well, I'm going to give it to you straight, Bubba.
Yes,
so
sir.
Let's hear it.
Number 10 is a guy that we should not have sent down. And he's a guy that played really well when we saw him. 3 strong innings. It's Clark Schmidt. I got him at 10. He played really well. He couldn't close the deal. Those 3 walks there, all of them came with 2 strikes. So he just couldn't get that strikeout, that ending pitch. But I think that Clark Schmidt played really well in his one appearance this week. We only had 5 games to talk about since last week, so it's not really a big sample size. But I think Clark Schmidt, in the game that he appeared in, played very well. And I think he's going to be a very valuable piece for this team moving forward, especially going towards a postseason push. Number 9, we got another guy that we called up. Tossing the grenade, Oswaldo Cabrera. Now, we talked about it earlier. The stick hasn't quite been there. He's only hitting him. He's hitting below 200. He's hitting 191 in his last 7 games. But in his first 7-8 career games, he's got 5 defensive runs saved. He's been absolutely insane with the leather. He's, robbing home runs. He's making plays at the plate. He's diving into the crowd. He's exactly what you're asking for, and it's that spark of youth, of something that could really just bring this team back. And I think Cabrera played really well in his first couple games. Great at bats, great defense. I think he deserves a spot on this top 10. Number 8, we got Lou Trevino. Came out, big win earlier this week against Toronto. A win we really needed, He got 7 outs, coming off a string of losses. 3 back-to-back against Toronto. Trevino was able to shut the door, didn't even allow a hit, 1 walk. And I think, like we talked about earlier, there's going to be a discussion on who that back end of the bullpen is going to be when the time comes, and Trevino is definitely going to have a spot in that back end. Number 7, we got DJ LeMahieu. In August, he's hitting about 250. His OPS could be better, but he's a guy that, again, has been slotted everywhere in the infield, has played great everywhere in the infield. Did have that error where he just completely whiffed on that throw by Josh Donaldson. But other than that, he just gets on base, he scores, he knocks guys in, he plays above average to great defense 95% of the time. And I think that without DJ LeMahieu, this team wouldn't be in the position that they're in. He's one of the more valuable players on this team. And he's been a staple of my top 10 throughout the year. Very rarely was he not here. And I feel like he hasn't done enough to drop out. Number 6, he had a bad start, but if you're looking at somebody that, he was my number 2 guy last week. I don't think he had a bad enough start to drop him out the top 10, and that's Garrett Cole. He gave up the two RBI doubles. Other than that, nothing. Nothing really. He pitched relatively well. He just had those couple of mistakes, and I feel like he's going to bounce back in his next start. He's still our ace. He's still he'll probably be on the mound tomorrow. Let me see if they updated that. Yeah, Cole will be pitching tomorrow. Jermon Saturday. Nobody yet Sunday. But I feel like Cole is going to do really well tomorrow against former Yankee JP Sears. But I think Cole is still a top 6 player on this team, even after a bad start like that.
Yeah, I agree.
But number 5 is somebody that, he's been him recently, and that's Domingo Herman. In August, he started 5 games and has a 2.67 ERA, only allowing 8 runs, striking out 17. He's got his stuff back, and he's looking like the guy that, had all that promise 3-4 years ago when he looked like he was going to be a really solid starter in this league. Come postseason time, I would be very surprised if he's not at least in the bullpen, if not our 5th starter, barring injuries, of course. But Domingo has played really well in the limited appearances that he's gotten since coming back, other than the Houston game and the first Mets game, where he was kind of put in a really bad position coming off, a very long layoff. He's played outstanding, and I think that he's been a top 5 player since he's joined this team. Number 4 is a guy that we're going to have to lose for a little while, and that's Nestor. He only allowed 1 run in his last start. Over his last 4, he got a 3.3 ERA. That could go down. 22 strikeouts over 24 innings. He's going to be a sore spot to miss, but we're talking about over the last couple of weeks, the last week. And I think Nestor pitched really well in his last start. Over his last 4, he's been serviceable. And I think that he's going to be sorely missed on this team. But for right now, he's the number 4 player for the last week. Number 3, we got Karate Kid, Ron Marinaccio. We literally just talked about it. He's just been great. He's been outstanding. 25 2/3 innings, 1 run, 29 strikeouts, 4 hits. There's really not much that you could look at him and be like, yeah, he's not. He's been the best bullpen arm, I would say, throughout the year that we still have. Because you could throw Michael King in there. You can throw Clay Holmes in there. But right now, active up in the bullpen, Ron Marinaccio has been the best bullpen arm we've had all year. Number 2, guy we got at the deadline, Andrew Benintendi has had a hell of a last couple of weeks. Over his last 15, he's hitting 300 with an 880 OPS, 6 doubles, a triple, a home run, 8 RBIs. He gets on base. He makes great plays in the outfield. He's been the guy that we have needed. He's been the anti-Aaron Hicks. And he's been the second best player over the last couple of weeks. But again, as it's been very, very, very pretty obvious over the last season, number 1, it's him. I don't even need to say it's like it's him. Aaron Judge, number 1. Tommy, give it to me.
Is there a way you could post the 1 through 10 so I can see it in order?
Yeah, I can post it in the group chat right now.
All right, so I just want to take a look at it. I feel like it's pretty damn good. I definitely don't have a problem with the 1 and 2. Benintendi and Cole definitely won. Judge and Benintendi 1 and 2. Benintendi's been really good. We're getting a player that we thought we were getting from that trade.
I just put it in the group chat.
All right, cool. Give me a second. Let me just look at it real quick. Yeah, man, I like it. The Judge, Benintendi, and Marinaccio. Listen, you know how I feel about Marinaccio. I just told you I think the kid can be the closer for right now. That's how good I think he's been. Obviously, Judge is. It's not like he's slowing down. He's been phenomenal. Benintendi's been really good lately. Base hit, doubles in the gap, hitting the ball the opposite way, right in between short and third.
Sending it to the second deck in that Toronto game.
It's crazy, dude. The guy's been lights out. Been great. Marinaccio's been great. Nestor, a couple really good starts again up until now. This injury, right? He's out. Domingo Herman, 5, been really good, right? That Met start was really good, showing some good, promising signs for us. Garrett Cole, LeMahieu, Trevino. I had no problem with that. I might have put Clark Schmidt maybe 1 or 2 spots higher, but I mean, it's all good. I think it's a good top 10. I think it's like a third consecutive 1 in a row, man. It's been pretty solid, bud. I really don't have too much to say about it, to be honest with you. I know if Joe was here, he would probably
he'd probably still want Joey Gallo on the list somehow.
Yeah,
he'd want Joey Gallo in the top 10.
Yep. But yeah, good list, man. I think Marinaccio, man, you talk about a competition for the closer. I would put that. I'll tell you right now, if we were up 4-2 tonight, and they come out with Marinaccio, man, I'm not going to be like, oh shit, I don't like this. I would feel fine with him coming out. Him, Trevino, and Loizaga, I would feel okay with those 3 guys right now being in the closer spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's where I stand with that.
Should be our 7, 8, 9 guys for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I don't care which way you go right now until Holmes comes back. It doesn't matter. But Marinaccio needs to be up there.
We got
that kid Weiser that we called up, supposed to have really filthy stuff, 18 and 19 for saves in AAA,
yeah,
0.59 ERA. This kid's supposed to be filthy. I don't know how hard he throws, but I heard he's really good.
He's going to get some reps for sure, especially when we're playing the teams that we are.
Do you know how hard he throws? Like, I don't. That's what I couldn't.
I've seen mid 90s before. I don't think he's high 90s.
Yeah, I just know that his stuff's
96,
really good.
Anywhere from like 93 to 96.
Yep. I know that he's 18 for 19 for saves with a 0.59, really good down there. So like Ray always says, arms, right?
Yep.
And he's right. Look at the Mets series, right? Gave up 2 runs each game, right? Is that what it was? 4-2, 4-2? Or am I wrong?
Yeah. We've allowed 2 runs in the last game against Toronto and both games against the Mets.
So there you go, right? Arms. You get good starting pitching, followed up by good bullpen, and you actually score runs. That equals a W, which we weren't doing for a long time.
Well, the scoring runs, like Ray really does push the arms thing, but man, for about 2 weeks, we could not score at all.
Yeah. Which makes the pitcher's job a lot harder. It puts stress on them, so I think they pitch worse. It's easy to come into a game when you got a 4-0 lead, okay? Rather than being down already 2-0. Now you try to be pitcher perfect to not let it escalate to 3-0, 4-0 against you, right? Yeah. So it's nice to get a lead, to come out pitching with a lead, pitching with confidence, knowing you don't got to be so picky, right? Hitting corners and things like that. Just throw the ball free and easy. So it's nice to score runs as well. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow we do have, I don't know if you caught it because I kind of said it in the middle of the top 10, but tomorrow we will have Cole on the mound against JP Sears, who we traded away.
Yes, I heard that. Yep.
In the Montas trade. And then on Saturday we got German. Still nobody released for Sunday. It might be Montas. I don't remember how many pitches he had against the Mets.
It also could be Clark. It could be Clark Schmidt.
Yeah, it could be Schmidt. It could be Montas. I would think they would try and get Montas in Oakland.
Yeah, they could.
That's just my thought process is they would try to throw Montas in Oakland.
Well, Montas pitched on Tuesday.
Well, and then we also had the day off, so he'd still be
Wednesday. It would be 4 days rest.
Yeah, it'd still be 4 days rest. I'm not. I don't remember how many pitches he threw in that Mets game though.
I think it was high to mid 80s, like almost 90.
I can check right now. I just gotta find the game.
I say 92.
Total pitches. Why can't I see it? Am I blind? 92.
Oh, goddamn, I'm good. I didn't even use Google.
Yep, 92, 57 strikes.
All right, so that was a pretty good guess by me.
Yeah, on the money. But yeah, Montas. 92 pitches, 4 days rest. Maybe it's gonna be Schmidt.
It could be Schmidt. He threw what, almost 58 pitches in.
He threw 60 exactly.
60 exactly. Okay, I knew it was almost, yeah. So I was gonna say 58, but it could be Schmidt. Or it could be Montas with a short hook and Schmidt backing him up. You don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Obviously, it'd be good to take 3 or 4 against that team, win 6 of our last 7, and then go into Tampa Bay after that, right?
Well, we got 4 here in Oakland, and then we got 3 against.
Oh, that's right. The Angels first. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well,
So
they don't.
Man.
Yeah.
I would say on a 7-game road trip, 5-2 would be nice. I know they're 2 bad teams, but
I think
west,
that's doable.
I think going west, 5 out of 2 is good. I would love a 7-0 sweep or a 6-1, but going out to the west and playing is always tough. I'll settle for 5-2.
I think we could definitely sweep this Athletics team, but I would. The Angels are disappointing, and they're disappointing for a reason, because they're really talented. I don't know if we could take all 3 against them.
Yeah,
but I think 5-2 is a good guess. But that's gonna do it for us here at Fired Up Sports, episode 11 in the books. We will be back next week, hopefully riding a 5-2 run. Hopefully riding a big streak going into the Tampa Bay series.
definitely be nice.
Yeah. Sorry, anything to add before we close out?
Nope. Go Yankees. Let's have a good road trip. Let's go 5-2, and then take care of Tampa after that. Like I said, I want fire and I want a little bit more energy from this team, and I'll be happy.
Absolutely. All right, that's gonna do it. Have a good one, guys.
All right, guys.